Hello again, I am Jim Bob. Welcome back to Fendt Farm, and today we're going to be doing some windrowing and some baling. But before we get started on that, I'm just going to quickly clean up after our animals. So just need to grab this weight. There we go. So we put a load of grass down in our cow food trough the other day, and it looks huge. It really does. I haven't seen a mountain of grass in one of there for a long time like that. Let's grab these bits that we missed. There we go. It's close enough. Why isn't that opening? Ah, it's because the water trailer's there. We'll have to move that. Look at all that grass that's in there. Huge amount now, simply because we have a large number of cows now. We're going to head up to the sheep as well, do the same for the sheep, give them a little tidy up, because no doubt they'll be making a mess as well, as they are wont to do. Look at that, we have what looks to be a major muck out just there, or something very similar. That's obviously a recent mod that's just gone live on the console mod hub. Speaking of mods, we've actually had some more mods today as well. We've had the RC Max, which is a combination weeder slash cultivator. You can use it as either, so I'm looking forward to actually trying that one out. I think it'd be quite useful to have a tool that you can use as a weeder and a cultivator, yeah, depending on how you've configured it. We also have the second of the Sutton mods, the bale fork. With, well, I say bale fork, it's a large fork, so it's kind of designed, I think, more for, you know, silage and chips, things like that. The Sutton fork with hardocks even, that has gone live. And the third mod that's gone live is the Garrett Cotter slurry spreader. That's kind of a mid-sized spreader with a decent sized capacity, decent working width, 12 meters. They are the mods that have gone live today, and we've also had an update for the Smith bale trailer as well. We actually have one of those, so we'll be able to check out some of the changes to that a little bit later. But we've tidied up after our animals, so let's drop these bits of equipment off. And let's grab our windrower. And let's start rowing up all that grass that we cut. I did go ahead and cut a load more fields. I haven't got all of our grass fields, simply because some of them are a little bit small and fiddly, and in my opinion, more hassle than they're worth. You know, to go in and spend a lot of time faffing around cutting something and then rowing it for what produces a very, very small amount of grass. And we don't have any burning need for the grass. We're doing it just to get some silage together. And also for some baling as well. So mainly baling, and then whatever we've got left over we'll do a little bit of silage wrapping on. We also have a bale wrapper waiting for us at the store that we picked up last episode, so we'll have to make sure we bring that over as well. Let's just drop these forks off. This front loader. There we go. That'll do. So let's start over here. This is the first field that we'll start with. I'm terrible at windrowing these weird shaped fields. I always make a bit of a mess of it. See, the grass has started to grow back a little bit since we've cut it. That's absolutely fine. Let's see if we can't deal with this reasonably comfortably. Actually, this could be quite tricky to actually see. I've noticed actually, if the lighting isn't just right, it can be quite hard to actually see the grass on this map. But I'm hoping we'll be alright. So, let's drop that down, turn it on. Just going to tidy up this kind of border that we've put in. Gone a little bit wonky there. Let's raise that up. There we go, that's a bit better. And we're going to whiz around the side of the field doing this kind of, you know, border cut that I put in, like almost like a hedgerow, headland. We'll get that baled up, and then we'll try and bale up and down if we can, or row up and down, just to make things a little bit easier for when we come to actually bale the field. Hopefully we'll get a decent number of bales off this one. It is quite a big field, very weirdly shaped, and it's almost impossible to actually make out the shape of the field just by looking at the mini-map, because there's no real definition to show exactly where the field goes. You can kind of make out certain parts just based on the brown the brown lines where the pathway is. Let's add a little bit more light to the situation. It is still early. There we go. Now we'll go around the other side. And attack over here. So if you didn't watch the American Outback episode that was actually a day late, so went out yesterday, then once again a big thank you to everyone who has continued to support the channel and continue watching my content. Means an awful lot. We have now passed the 500 subscriber mark, and I made a little announcement. I've already made the announcement on Facebook, and we had a little discussion about it with American Outback as well, but we are going to be making some changes to the channel going forward. So this farm will end up getting relocated at some point. Fendt farm will continue, just somewhere else. We're also going to be relaunching Massey Manor. Now that the Massey update has come out, we've seen some improvements to the equipment, such as the cultivator and the seeder. Obviously, it's brought in new stuff like the combine, which is absolutely brilliant. It's actually really big, like an 8,000 litre tank. So now that we have, all that new stuff, we'll be able to actually get Massey Manor back up and running again. That won't happen straight away, but it should be hopefully going live around the end of the month. We are going to be seeing potentially the end of American Outback in the not too distant future. We're going to look at maybe replacing that with something a little bit different. And the reason for that is we have that and Big Bud Farm, and they're kind of a little bit similar. American Outback is the same kind of location and feel as Mustang Valley, both by the same map maker, obviously. Both have that desert texture, both have very flat ground, both have American equipment, and there isn't a lot of difference between the two series, especially as we're now really starting to ramp things up with Big Bud Farm, now that we have that extra field. And we're going to start branching out into to beets, and we're going to start looking at getting cows up and running on that farm as well. You know, there's less to distinguish, you know, a difference between those two farms going forward. So American Outback will no doubt at some point in the not too distant future be wound down and replaced with something else. I do have some kind of ideas in the back of my head as to what I'm going to replace it with, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. And in terms of other stuff, we are also going to be bringing more, you know, more games to the channel. So I'm going to continue with footage from Avon Colony. I already have the next mission recorded in parts and ready to go, so that'll be getting uploaded over the weekend. We'll be doing a sandbox run on that as well, and also we will have some other new games going live as well, such as City Skylines goes live at some point next week. You know, my game is pre-ordered. It should start downloading this weekend, and then I think midnight Tuesday is when I actually get access to that title. So we'll be bringing some City Skylines to the channel. Not entirely sure how the format for that's going to work. It depends on how the game is once I open it up. It may just be sandboxing. It may be a combination of missions and sandboxing. It may be just missions, but there'll be sandboxing on that one, because I've been waiting for a game like that for quite a long time. You know, a proper kind of sim city style city management game, and we are looking as though that one's going to be the best one on console for a very long time. Might hear the ice cream jingle there in the background. We're also going to be doing a second season of Prison Architect. I'm going to be picking up the DLC for that, and doing a brand new prison. I'm finally going to be doing some footage on Limbo this weekend. It's been asked a couple of times in the past, and I've been meaning to do it for a while, just never got round to it. Limbo will be coming to the channel very, very soon. As I say, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to record and play that this weekend. I'm also going to be looking at some other little mini games that I've been wanting to bring to the channel for a while and haven't. Firewatch is a brilliant game. I'm guessing quite a few of you out there have already played it, but it's such a wonderful game, and there are still some trophies I need to get since they updated it after I completed it. But I will have to go back and play it at some point anyway. But I figured I may as well do that again by bringing it to the channel for you guys. And we're also going to look at potentially bringing other games to the channel, such as Formula 1 2017. That is out later this month. I've already had some positive feedback regarding the potential of that one coming to the channel from you guys. So that is another game that we are looking to bring as well. So all sorts of new content coming. And we will obviously keep the farming content going as well. You know, the channel is very much a sort of a split in two halves. There's the farming sim content, which will always be there, and then there is the Jim Bob Plays side of the channel, which is pretty much everything else. So simulations, big budget games, you know, AAA games, and also you know, some of the smaller network games as well. Think games like Prison Architect and Limbo and Firewatch, that kind of game. So yeah, plenty of stuff still to come on the channel. Do hope you guys enjoy the content that I'm going to try and bring for you, and I hope you get behind those playlists. And I'm going to continue windrowing this field, and we'll catch up once we're done. Okay, so that's field 34 done. It's a little bit messy in a couple of places, but it's effectively windrowed. So let's move on to field 27. That's the next one. This is the one where we obviously cut on camera last week and then stole a little bit of the grass to feed our cows. But the rest of it is all, as you can see, rowed up and ready to go. see the grass. So this looks like a decent kind of line to take. We'll just hold this and then go off either side of this to make sure that we are rowing everything up. I think for the most part we should be able to get, you know, pretty much everything to our right there, bar that final strip. Start a little bit wide. No, I'm not going to get everything. Not until we get about halfway up. Alright, so I'm going to continue rowing up this field as well, and then as you can see, that's where we're going next. And then after that we have field 10, which is, no, not field 10, sorry, field 9, which is up behind our other farm. So we'll get those two fields rowed, then we'll go grab our baler, we'll bale everything up, and then we'll start looking at, oh actually we need to ted some of these as well. We'll probably do, we'll probably ted, because we're going to do quite a lot of bales, won't we? I remember now. I might ted the next couple of fields first before I windrow them. We'll see. It might be easier just to ted the windrows. I'll have to think about that one while I'm finishing this field off. Alright, I'll catch up with you in just a moment. So that field is done, and I am going to do the tethering before I do the windrowing. So I'm just coming back to get my ted, which is hiding in there, my tedder. There it is. It's been a while since we used this actually. Turn around. And we'll leave the windrower out in the pathway. Just there. And drop that there, turn around. Oops, didn't line up properly. There we go. Of course, it helps if you actually lower the tedder. There we go, that's better. Now we can see what we're doing. Yeah, this tedder's really small. We might have to think about maybe getting a bigger one. We're a little bit strapped for cash at the moment, as you can see. With our loan debt, we are currently losing around $2.5 grand a day. Plus we have, you know, our animal upkeep costs and our machinery costs. We're actually in total losing around $10,000 a day. 10,000, yeah, we're still on dollars because I haven't changed the currency. We're losing 10,000 a day basically. That's our current kind of costs. Now we did make some milk. We made about 8,000 in milk, But of course, that was a partial milk day. We'd only just added the cows in and then got them fed, so it wasn't a full representation as to just how much money we could make. So I expect today that we'll make a larger amount of milk and make a lot more money at the end of the day. We'll have to wait and see, but it may well be now that we have enough cows that we can actually start making a nice little bit of a profit with our animals now. I mean, our upkeep costs are expensive, not only because we have such a large number of cows now, but also we've had for a while now a large number of sheep. So our combined animal costs across both of those two are getting quite pricey. Alright, we are just about ready to start going up and down. This is this is very narrow. We are going to need to get something a little bit wider. This is going to take a long time otherwise. There's nothing we can do about it this time round, but yeah, for next time when we do come to do some more hay work, we'll have a larger tedder, I think. I'll get one from the coon pack or something. We'll have a look. So, once again, going to jump ahead, going to do some off-camera tedding, and I will catch up with you in just a moment. Alright, there we go, finished that field. We'll row that on the way back. We're going to go and ted and row our field up behind our second farm, so let's make our way over there. I'm kind of enjoying using our little 300 Vario. I haven't used this for a little while, really, for anything other than just shoveling bits of grass. So it's quite nice to actually use this on a proper job. It's quite a nice cab to be in as well. It's quite a nice size. You've got decent visibility. The mirrors work pretty well in this one. Where's all this traffic suddenly coming from? Alright. There we go. So, same again, we're going to leave the rower outside the field. We'll get everything tedded first, and then we'll switch tools, and we'll come back for the tedder. We'll drop the tedder off and come back for the rower. So, let's drop that there. Let's drop that there. Switch over. Oops. Connect up. And once again, we're going to do a border. This is quite a nice sized field, this one here. So we should get a decent number of hay bales off this one. Nothing too over the top. Don't forget, all of these grass fields that we're working, they are just native grass. None of them have been ploughed and then replanted, so it's just the bog standard, base level grass. No fertilizer can be applied to it. They can't be weeded in any way. So whatever grows is whatever grows, and that's it. Not like a worked field where we can obviously get a 10% yield bonus just by having a ploughed field, and then adding up to an extra 90% through various stages of fertilizing. This is just as is. So whereas a worked field this size would give a much larger amount of grass cuttings, this is a decent amount. It's comparable. So once again, I'm going to kind of whiz ahead a bit, get this field done, and then we'll start rowing up. Alright, so there we go, another field tedded. So let's get this dropped off. Oops, need to raise it, there we go. Grab our windrower. I need to try and figure out where's the best place going to be to actually get this started. Guess over here somewhere. Kind of a little bit tricky to see, unfortunately, with the trees and bushes in this corner. But we'll have a go over here. So we can make sure we can get all of this stuff. And again, we're going to do a border just to make it, give us a bit of room for turning. Make sure we get all of that stuff that's right up against the fences. This one in particular is going to be a bit tricky because of the trees. Yep, I knew that was going to happen. There we go. Alright, so that's pretty much our border done now. Now it's just going to be a case of getting everything else rowed up and down as well. So once again, we'll do a little jump forward, and I'll see you in just a moment. Okay, so that field is tedded, rowed, and ready for baling. I'm going to take a look before we do anything else, though, at our bale trailer, because it's just in this. Let's squeeze my way through here. A little bit naughty. There we go. I'm going to take a look at the Smith bale trailer and say it has been updated. So let's pop this into our workshop and have a look at some of those changes. We can't afford to make any changes, we just don't have the money, but we should still be able to examine them. It has been given more stability to make it less prone to tipping, which is always a good thing when you have a bale trailer, is to have it as stable as possible. There we go, and back this in. Let's have a look at this. So we can now change the main colour, and we've got a choice of pretty much the entire colour palette, as you can see. That's pretty cool. So we could actually put this in our Fendt green if we wanted to, which would be that green, I think. Wheel setup, we can now fit wide tyres, Trelleborg tyres, or just standard. We have a rim colour that we can choose as well, so we can actually go, yeah, we could really sort of Fendt this out like that. And then obviously we've got the creels, and we've also got the ability to add ramps now as well. So that's pretty awesome. I really like the sound of that. Obviously we don't really need the creels as we're not doing round bales, but I do like the sound of rear ramps. It's a shame we just don't have the money to actually go ahead and make some of those changes. But yeah, there we go. That is the Smith bale trailer. Actually, we'll leave that just there because we will be coming back for that once we've baled this field. So let's get on with some baling. Lower the pickup, unfold the baler, unfold that, turn that on. Right, we are good to go. So these bales will be stored up by our cow shed. Give us a nice starting allowance for the next set of TMR that we're going to have to make, because we're pretty much out of bales, I think, now. Over by our cows. I think we've got a few silage bales maybe, and no hay, or the other way around, a few hay and no silage. I can't remember which way round it goes. I think we ran out of hay bales. But this will definitely help, you know, get us prepped for our next TMR run. Oh, of course, I would drop that right at the end of a row, wouldn't I? I wasn't paying attention there. That was not clever. Oh, well, hopefully I can kind of get away with that. We'll see. Just have to be sure, be careful not to approach those head on. See if I can go in from this end. Alright, so we finished our baling on that field. However, we can't really do any more baling until we've finished tedding and rowing. So let's grab our gear, head back over to our other farm, try not to keep spinning the Ted around. That's not helping me at all here. There we go. So let's head over to our other farm. Let's Ted and row another field over there. In fact, we've already tedded, haven't we? So we just need to row the other field. Then we can get that equipment put away. We can start baling everything, and then grab our baler. Sorry, grab our bale trailer and transport everything over to where we need to store the bales. Okay, this could be slightly tricky. Depends on how well we can get in here. Just about managed it. There we go. And everything from here should be nice and straightforward. We just do our our border run and then up and down the field. Actually, I think with this one, I'm just going to keep going in a circle, like a spiral. Make it one long continuous stream. See if we can do it that way. It's not too big a field, so it shouldn't take very long at all. My only concern is that some of these turns may be a little bit tight. Oops. Let's try that again. There we go. So yeah, definitely looking forward to being able to bring Massey Manor back now that we have that that update that seems to have fixed pretty much all of the issues that I was aware of. There are a few more issues that I'm going to check out, see if they've been resolved as well. I know that the some of the texture issues that we had, where the log grab, if you remember, I had one of those log grabs on old stream, and it loaded in black. It didn't load the colour. That's been fixed as well. That's no longer an issue. It's quite interesting as well, actually, the way that they've done the update, because they've added in the genuine two-wheel drive system. What it's done with the tractors is they've actually removed the two-wheel drive option from those tractors and just added them as separate listings. So now you have a standard tractor which has all of the usual options, so twin rears, wides, standard and narrows, and the two-wheel drive option is gone, and then you have a two-wheel drive version of the same vehicle with exactly the same options. So you could put wide tyres on, you could put twin rears on, you could put narrows on, or just leave them as standard, and it only affects the rear wheels. Obviously, the front wheels are those tiny little two-wheel drive wheels. So that's kind of cool. At first I thought we'd got extra tractors the first time I saw that, but it's just split out the two-wheel drive option and made that a completely separate listing, which kind of makes sense, so that you can actually have those wheel options on a two-wheel drive tractor. I know one of my viewers was very excited to see that we could have two-wheel drive with twin rears. But I'm curious about a couple of other things that I haven't checked yet as well. So I know that the seeder doesn't bounce anymore. I have tested the seeder and it no longer bounces, which is great to see. That was so frustrating, trying to plant and just leaving great big strips of the field completely unseeded as you were driving along. That was a little bit frustrating. But the seed animation, where it would actually pile through the roof of the or through the lid of the seed tank on the seeder, I want to check, see if that's been addressed as well, see if that still bleeds through, depending on how you fill it. If you use something like a placeable tank, then obviously you didn't see that. But if you filled them using pallets, as I think quite a few people are tending to want to do, using that pack, is to go back to using pallets, then it did cause some issues, because you would get these clumps of seeds just poking up through the roof of the seed tank. So it'll be interesting to see whether that has been resolved. I'll have to check that out. Right, so we are done with our tedding and we've rode everything, so this equipment can be washed and put away. Let's get our pressure washer out. Give this a clean. The track's absolutely filthy, look. go. Oh no, that doesn't live there. This lives here next to the mowers. Straighten her up. There we go. That's pretty much perfect. Now we'll drop our tedder back. I've been intending to store it here in this little workshop area. Could put a toolbox in there actually. Turn that into a little drive-in workshop area for our tractors, but there's not really a huge need to do that on this farm. There we go. So we need our baler. And let's get that over to the farm and start stacking up some bales over there. Alright, there we go. It's another field done. So, actually, need to keep that down. Turn that off. Inject the bale. Eject the stack. And then we've got one random leftover bale. Right, so that's the hay done. Time to move on to just the regular grass. Oh, what am I doing? I don't want to be using this thing. I'm supposed to be wrapping these and then stacking them afterwards. Ah, I always make this mistake. God damn it. Oh well. You just have to knock the stack over and wrap them individually. And stack them back up again afterwards. Yeah, I completely forgot we're wrapping these bales, so stacking them just causes all sorts of issues. Luckily we only have the one stack so far. But yeah, I do not want to be using that stacker just yet. Alright, there we go. So that's this field finished. I checked out those bales. And let's move on to the next field. And there we go, that's the end of the field. So, baler off, do some ejecting of bales. Fantastic. Alright, so our baling is done. We just need to wrap everything up and then get it stacked and transported. Let's go grab our bale wrapper. Alright, so we'll start with this field just here. Let's see, can I actually pull out some of these bales? Kind of. That hasn't really gone well. There we go. That's one way to tear down a stack. A little bit clumsy there. Tell you what, a bale pusher would have done really well on this map for this. Shame I don't have any money to buy one. Or even lease one for that matter. So we just have this one last bale in front of us to wrap after we've done this one here. All the others have been done. There we go, give it a little nudge, spin it around, pick it up. Beautiful. So, next episode then, we will stack all these bales, we'll get them transported over to our cows. Get them all put into our little bale hut that you can just see behind that tree, kind of. Let's get a better view of it. Just over there, our little awning there. It's completely empty. We used up all of our bales last time out, so I forgot that we actually started swapping the bale loads over to maximise the number of bales that we had left. So all of those bales are completely gone. We will replace them all in that awning there, get a nice stack made up, and then at some point we'll probably pre-make a load of TMR as well. We'll do all that in the next episode, so thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob, and I will catch you back on the farm very soon.